Hello, I'm Martin Romjue, editor of Charged Fleet, and welcome to another episode of the Off-Peak. Today, the Off-Peak meets the Off-Grid in the form of mobile charging for electric fleets. One of the most intimidating hurdles for fleet electrification is the siting, planning, sourcing, financing, and construction of fixed EV chargers. Mobile charging has gained traction as an alternative in recent years, and to help us understand how it works is Josh Aviv, the CEO of SparkCharge, a provider of portable, on-demand, app-based charging. Josh, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here today.
All right, let's get to it. So, for viewers who may not be familiar, can you briefly explain what forms mobile EV charging takes and why it is so relevant now?
Absolutely. So mobile EV charging takes a lot of different forms, right? It can depend on the location, it can depend on the type of fleet, the goals we want to accomplish. And we think about it, mobile EV charging can be done with batteries like the one behind me here in the image, where we have an all-electric battery that can be towed and has integrated charging and plug in to a car right there on the spot. It can also be done when we think about it with alternative energy such as propane, vegetable oil, natural gas, things of that nature. Really anything that's meant to boost support or be used outside of the grid.
So when we think of EV charging, we think of those chargers that look like gas station pumps, and they have
Mhm.
they have the nozzle, and you put them in. From a daily operation standpoint, how does mobile charging shift the whole charging picture for fleets?
For fleets, it's a huge deal. The number one, issue that fleets run into is, well, I've got this fleet of vehicles. Where do I deploy them? Where do I do my charging? The same issues that a regular EV owner like me and you might have around where do I charge one vehicle, a fleet is asking that same question around where do I charge 100 vehicles, 500 vehicles, 1,000 vehicles, and how do I do that every single day to keep my fleet energized and up and running? When you think about what goes into, keeping that fleet up and running, number one is location, right? And a lot of times location can be inhibited by where is the grid available and where is it not available. If I want to deploy my fleet in a certain city, a certain town, a certain location, I might not have enough energy coming from the grid to be able to deploy that many cars in that location. And when that happens, I need someone that can come in and bridge the grid, someone that can come in and support the grid, or someone that can come in and boost the grid. And that's really when SparkCharge comes in and works with fleets and says, hey, it doesn't matter if you need 500 kilowatt hours of energy or 3,000 kilowatt hours of energy. We can come in and support and set up where you're at. It's really the grid coming to you to get your fleet up and running.
Now, you described the operation as off-grid.
Mhm.
So walk us through the primary sources of power and how they all work together.
Yeah, so we offer an array of different tools, and we can use anything from battery power, like the one you see behind me. We also have our SparkCharge power hubs, which can run on anything from clean fuels like renewables, and we can basically set up in any location off the grid and supply electricity to our partners to their fleets.
So what do you find are the typical operational savings for an EV fleet that decides they will entirely use mobile charging versus fixed infrastructure?
Absolutely. So it really comes down to two types of savings, right? Number one, the most important one is time and ROI and speed to ROI. So if the grid is going to take anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 years to catch up with the demand and load that that fleet needs, and you can get up and running with Spark Charge in anywhere from 7 to 14 days, you've now just compressed that time window down, and your ROI and your speed to ROI can go up. In terms of monetary, right, we've seen fleets saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, not having to basically trench, dig, wait for transformers, upgrade the power. Being able to basically set and go with SparkCharge is saving them a ton of capital that they can now put into growing and scaling and launching their fleets in a time window that I think a lot of fleets have now realized is possible.
So that brings up another point I'm curious about. How do you view the traditional constructed fixed charging networks. Are they partners? Are they competitors? Do you integrate with them? How does that all fit together?
Yeah, great question. So we see them as partners, right? I think they have their place in the market for servicing consumer demand. But when you think about a fleet, right, a fleet needs to charge, hundreds of cars a day, sometimes multiple cars a day. And a fleet doesn't want to send someone to a location, sit, wait, and then bring them back to their depot and then deploy. The unit economics just don't work out that way at scale. But we think for public charging, consumers, things like that, it's a great asset to have, and it's a great network that needs to continue to be built out here in the United States.
Now, for a long-term electric fleet, what technical challenges did you have to solve to make the mobile charging viable?
Yeah, I think we had to figure out the logistics. I think that was number one, right? How can we be anywhere a fleet needs to be? So at SparkCharge, we operate across all 50 states here in the United States. We launched in Canada. We are launching internationally here pretty soon as well. So I think we had to figure out the logistics, and then we had to figure out, how do we deploy energy anywhere, right? Anywhere in the United States. We're now asking ourselves, how do we deploy energy anywhere in the world? Right? And so when we think about those, those two core pieces are logistics and energy, right? That's what we really had to figure out here at SparkCharge. And once we were able to figure that out, we were able to grow and scale and help fleets launch anywhere they needed to be.
What do the electric fleets say about the intimidation factors or challenges related to charging and how does the mobile charging kind of shift that or remove that?
I think it removes it completely, right? When you talk to a fleet and you see the light bulb turn on and they're like, "Oh, wait, like I can start charging my cars now, not later," right? I can start deploying these cars out now versus waiting for upgrades, right? I think that fear, that intimidation around charging goes away when you have a partner like SparkCharge that's holding your hand and saying, "Hey, we can get this done this month, not 2, 4, 5 years from now," right? And I think that gets them really excited because for a fleet, right, their mission, their vision is to basically launch these vehicles, get people in these vehicles, have a great experience, right? And charging these vehicles is just one part of the equation of many that goes into running their operations. And if you can make that part of their operations simple, easy, seamless, fast, right, headache free, then you have a winning combination. And I think that's something at SparkCharge that we do exceptionally well.
So it does prompt one question here, and in terms of application, let's say you have a fleet operator who wants to basically take the traditional approach. They have duty cycles,
Mhm.
and the fleet is used mostly during the day. They would like to have a central depot at night where
Mhm.
the vehicles come back and they charge. Does it make sense to line up all these mobile chargers on a lot as if they were fixed chargers and then just keep charging the vehicles indefinitely for months and years to come?
It does. Some of our customers have been using us for years and they have
Mhm.
no intention of leaving. When you think about it, right, once you get up and running with mobile, that cost basically starts amortizing down the longer you have it, right? And so that means that yes, you can stick with mobile and your costs are going to stay flat, right? They'll go down over the years in certain applications, but you're effectively up and running. You didn't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars on equipment, construction, and trenching and digging and going through every loophole there is. I mean, you're effectively there, right? SparkCharge is managing the energy, we're managing the equipment, we're managing the setup, we're managing the permits. All you do is bring your cars in, you plug in, you charge, and you grow and scale your business. And for a lot of fleets, that is the winning solution, right? Why would I give myself the headache of trying to set this up if there's a company like SparkCharge that can run it from beginning to end?
And one last question on that point. Are there additional power sources that have to be brought in just for the mobile chargers? Let's say you've got 20, 30 lined up on a lot and
Mhm.
you use them as I just described. Is there some additional utility work or anything that has to be done to charge the mobile chargers?
Zero utility work. So
Okay.
zero utility work. SparkCharge handles everything. We can swap them out. We can manage them. Zero utility work, zero trenching, digging, tunneling, anything of that nature. Everything can be off grid. Everything can be structured and managed.
Okay. All right, well, that's good to know. I could go on and on here, but that's all the time that we have. So, Josh, thank you for your insights.
No problem. No problem. And thank you for having us. I mean, we believe that, off-grid energy is going to be the future of fleets. We're deploying megawatts as of last year, gigawatts as of this year of energy to fleets across the United States. And we want to continue to see fleets grow and electrify. And your channel is definitely playing a big part in that. So thank you for having us on board.
Sure, and that's encouraging to hear. And for those of you watching, you can learn more about mobile charging and all things electric vehicles on chargedfleet.com. For today, I'm Martin Romjue. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back soon here on another episode of the Off Peak.